So I asked Mr. Hendricks to write a little story about his journey through his rehab on his eye gaze system, and he wrote a beautiful summary of his story and his journey, and I asked him if he would share it with everyone at Aurora Hospital. Mr. Hendricks.
Story. On the 15th of December 2023, my wife and I went to visit my eldest daughter in Cape Town. Throughout the journey I felt that I was falling ill. My head was just painful and it was an indescribable weird feeling. I shrugged the feeling off and was opinion that the pain would disappear after some time. But we arrived in Cape Town, and the pain intensified and the weird feeling lingered with me even though I had taken some medication. After the pain remained and just couldn't disappear, I felt the desperate need to get to the nearest hospital, which was Melomd Hospital situated in Belleville. My wife took me on the 18th of December 2023 at about 18:30 to the hospital to their emergency center, where I was seen by a medical practitioner. The first thing that was administered was my blood pressure test, which measured way above the required reading. The doctor then placed me on an intravenous drip and kept me for a while, and later the same evening discharged me. I went home, but this weird headache just worsened the following day. It was on that fateful day I was rushed to the hospital with a throbbing headache and dizzy spells. Whilst waiting in the emergency room, I couldn't take the pain anymore. I shouted out, "I think I am getting a stroke." It was then when the doctor and the porter put me on a hospital trolley to have my head scanned. After that I knew nothing about myself. I was in a coma for a few weeks and my life was literally hanging on a thread. I was for 7 months in the intensive care unit and later transferred to St. George's Hospital intensive care unit for a month, and thereafter transferred to Aurora Rehabilitation Hospital for 2 months. It was there I met the most loving and caring staff that dedicated and devoted themselves to the rehabilitation of the patients. I can with all honesty say that I was on the road to recovery, though I knew it was a long journey. I can most certainly also say that of the medical practitioners, physiotherapists, speech therapists, nurses and the staff in general were excellent in their calling, and that made my stay very progressive and pleasant. Furthermore, after my 2 months stay at the Aurora Rehabilitation Hospital, I was then discharged to go home for further recovery. I was then receiving continued care at home, which was physiotherapy and speech therapy by Julia Charit Street. She indeed remained to be a wonderful blessing in my life. However, as my speech therapist, she introduced great innovative ideas. In the event that we await my speech to return, she offered me an eye gaze after she motivated the multipurpose function of the eye gaze. It was an offer I gladly received, though it had some financial implications for me, but it was the best thing ever that most definitely changed my life and connected me to the outside world via email, WhatsApp, Google, Facebook, Spotify, etc. I am able to type with my eyes on the tablet named an eye gaze, of which Julia is conducting ongoing weekly training, and I am mastering the eye gaze with flying colors. She is cut out for her calling as a speech therapist because of her skillfulness and her will to find alternative means to accommodate her patients. I am sure to be one of the most fortunate patients to be able to utilize the voice of the eye gaze to convey a message. I am so grateful to be associated with my speech therapist because of her very personalized way of communication with me. Currently, Julia is conducting continuous extensive training with me on the eye gaze to ensure that I become completely familiar with its entire multiple functions.
Thank you so much for sharing your story, Ms. Hendricks. I think everyone at Aurora is going to find it super inspiring, and I hope we can continue our awesome journey together. You've pretty much mastered this eye gaze system, and the next leg of your journey is to do the swallowing and the actual speech side, so we can focus on that now that you have a means to communicate. Well done. Congratulations.